Um, so that's really. Can you hear that noise when it says recording in progress? Yeah,
Yes.
apologies. So, welcome back, everyone. Thanks to everyone who's been here for the entire afternoon, and welcome to those who are joining for the IASPM UK and Ireland's contribution to the Global Lecture Series. So I'm delighted to welcome Hamad Rashid from the University of West London for today's talk, which is entitled Collaborative Music Production on Live Streaming. So Hamad is a PhD student at the University of West London doing research on vocal synthesis. He's also a music producer with over 40 albums available on major streaming platforms. He's been teaching music theory and production basics alongside musical instruments such as guitar and piano techniques to local private students, and has a musical background involving multiple genres such as jazz, EDM, techno, trap, hip hop, lo-fi, and rock. And as a producer, he's worked with artists from Europe and Asia. The majority of his production work comes from Pakistan and India. However, he's also written and produced songs for artists from all over the world. So yeah, we're going to have a really exciting keynote paper for everyone today, and I'd just like to welcome Hard to the stage to present his paper.
Thank you, Alex. That was super generous. I feel it was really good. First of all, thank you to this has been so much learning for me, listening to all the speakers. Some of them I'm actually gonna nick your ideas. I'm sorry, especially James Bell, definitely taking that bouncing thing, and also that rapper I found out about initially the female rapper. But overall, it's been a pleasure listening to it, and thank you for having like letting me do this on your platform. So just to start, this is not. I mean, I'm not gonna do a lot of slideshows. I'm gonna show you some videos, some websites, and then we'll go from there. But before I get into the collaborative stuff, I just want to give a little background. Actually, even before that, I just want to give a shout out to people. There are some people from actually our stream. So they are also here. So thank you for joining. For those guys, they know who they are. So now, just to give you a brief introduction, just a quick one about me. So as you already mentioned, that I'm a music producer. So I started out quite like 20 years ago as a guitar player, and because at that time guitar was pretty cool, and I got quite lucky that when I started music in Pakistan, I was in Pakistan at that time, and rock music was having its first indie wave, where or second indie wave, let's say, but mainstream it was becoming popular to be a guitar player, to be a rock musician. And I got lucky because when I started, some really big names right now were also starting out. So I got the opportunity to play along with some of the really big artists at the moment. And I was quite young at that time, but that exposure gave me a very quick, very like close insight into fame and how the music industry operates, and the distance between what an artist actually does and what people think they do, and how the money is actually being made in comparison to how people think the money is being made. So very early, for me, it was a not an eye opener, but I kind of understood that okay, so there's a lot of other things which are involved, and it's not just purely an aesthetic and art based thing. Well, anyway, so I worked as a music producer and stuff. I was working over there, and even at that time, I was into collaboration. So basically, finding people to work with, make music, and then try to sell that song to a singer or something. Even that was the whole idea. Anyway, coming to now, if from nowadays, skipping a big jump from there, I'm basically doing a PhD from UWL, and my PhD thesis is on vocal chops and now human voice is being used as musical instrument nowadays. So there's the reason why I went towards the academia, and I was more interested in that because I saw the opportunity of staying in music, like literally being involved in practice rather than involved in the promotion aspect or looking like an artist, all those things. And this way academics clearly gave me this freedom almost to actually do what I want to do, which is actually make music and understand different cultures music and make new aesthetically and sounds and stuff. So now this is, as you said, I've just released my 52nd album. So since that time, I've released 12 more albums, which sounds ridiculous, and everyone think this is silly, and maybe it is. But because I'm always working, every day we make a new song. So after 7 days, we got a new album because iTunes says 7 songs per album. So for that's also another. I'll touch into that. We're just saying that so there are new albums now. So in if I talk about particularly the collaboration thing, which is related to what my keynote is at this point. So Seth Gordon is actually a famous, I would say, thought leader. I mean, he's an author. He's a book writer in plain words. But he does is, if you look at his books or listen to his podcasts, you will see he will always give new ideas or new way of thinking about problems. And according to him, artist is someone who can creatively solve their problems. And I really like that. I love that. So again, going back to, he wrote a book in 2008 called The Tribes. And in that book, he mentioned that instead of focusing, first of all, you need to create some kind of a tribe, some kind of community around your art, around your work. You need to find people, and that way, and everyone has, and they can't be like an obvious hierarchy. It has to be a collaborative thing. And so that kind of stuck with me when I started this thing. Now I've kind of jumped ahead, so I will connect this with what I'm doing right now. But I want to set that up for you. So this is Seth Gordon, and I'm just gonna quickly show you that. So this is Seth Gordon, basically, this guy over here, and this is his blog. And what I want to show you from this blog is one particular thing, which is he's talking about the power of having a smallest viable audience. What that means is, I'll come back to that, but for now I just want to throw these keywords at you so then we can tie it up later on. Okay, so now if I go back to what I was what this collaboration thing was, that so just to give you a quick recap, I was a musician, music producer, working as that guitar player, and then I got into academics. Then on the side, I was understanding about academics, found out about Seth Gordon through my undergrad, and I was like, okay, so I'm a musician. I like to write songs. I don't want to get involved in pop industry because it's just the way the money is made isn't what I want to do for making money. I actually want to make music for money. So I had these two ideas. Then another thing is, there's this very famous influential guy from India. His name is Sandeep Maheshwari. He he is one of the biggest YouTube. Actually, he's probably the biggest non-profit channel on YouTube. So he doesn't monetize his videos. He does. He's also another thought leader. He gives ideas, and the videos are not monetized. And he's got over 20 million subscribers, and every video he puts out gets like 5-6 million views. But he doesn't monetize them. So again, he was quite generous with sharing ideas, but he wasn't monetizing it. So that was very inspiring for me to see, okay, you don't have to use your work to make money. This first thing is generosity. So you see, these three things were kind of, for me, it was like, okay, now how I can all connect it all together. So then, not it was a most very unfortunate when the COVID happened and lockdown happened, people lost their jobs. But personally, this kind of worked really well for me because I was inside. The studio I was hiring out wasn't working anymore, so I was at home. So I started thinking, okay, well, how can I connect all the things I do? So I like making music, and I like to make new music, not just one type of music. I don't like to make just jazz. I don't like to make just rock music. I like to make any music, just anything which is sonically pleasing for my ears. And then I, lucky for me actually, that by this time, internet technology has been advanced so much. Zoom is there. So YouTube has started the streaming services. So I was just somehow, I was like, okay, what if what can I do where I can combine all these activities, where I can make new music, where I can collaborate with the artist, where I can create new content, because I am a YouTuber. I've been doing it for 15 years, 13 years, sorry, my channel on YouTube. And I do all these things, how I can combine it rather than doing so many things. I can just do one thing and it can combine all of that. And this is where this, combining with Seth Gordon's idea of tribes, and that's Sandeep Maheshwari's thing, do things generously for free. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about monetizing each every word you're coming out of your mouth or each and every note coming out of my guitar or piano. So then I started. Luckily, at that time, they've been this again because of doing my masters at UWL, and I have to say thanks to Simon, because I did learn a lot from Simon. And of course, Simon, I mean, I think all of people here know that they learned a lot from Simon. But one thing I really learned, that how to research. And when I was looking for this thing, that what activity I can do, I went from a very like a pragmatic approach almost. Like, so I looked at studies on live streaming, let's say. So I just want to show you one particular study. So this one is, funny enough, all these studies are from China, and this one particular one. So even though the title of this is live streaming commerce and consumers purchase intention is uncertainty, however, they show in there that okay, well, you can, it's in the references, you can check that full title later. But the point of this article is that live streaming generated 100 more than 900 billion Chinese yuan last year, which is almost 150 million US dollars. That's a lot of money. And that's crazy. That's a crazy, I mean, it's not too much money, because 145 million is not that much, but it's a lot compared to when you talk about the saturation and the streaming revenue is all going down. At the same time, there is another industry which is bubbling up and making so much money. So, and YouTube is so good right now that they've provided this platform where you can do it for free, and you can charge, you get paid basically by monetizing your content, ad revenue, and some other factors like super chat, where people can actually just gift you money because they like it. And this thing, which when people want to give thing, it's such a live thing. When you go on street and you play, if I've done street music as well, I've been busked in Bristol, in a lot of places. So, and one thing for me was like, when I'm playing on street, and it's always this moment did you something happen to the listener that they just want to pay you money, or they want to give you something. It's a very emotional human thing, which in the recorded content, I feel like there's the disconnect. That because one, everyone understands there's edits happening. So even if this is an amazing Hollywood level production editing happening, it's an illusion. But when it comes to live content, something which is happening right now, the emotions, the humanity, that just stays there. And because I've done street performances and I've done so many concerts with my band, Urdu Jazz and Freedom Tree, I know that feeling we used to get as band and as people who are listening to us, and how they would get. So when I started doing live, the reason why, by the way, this shirt is the first one I wore in my first live stream. That's why this is just like an inside joke for the community that I'm wearing this. So when I started doing these live streams, the point was somehow I can teach, because one thing I've missed, by the way, that I am also, which you said, I'm a music teacher, which means that I teach music concepts to different levels. So I have students which are 4-year-olds, and I have students which are 60-year-olds. Various different music instruments. Some people are learning jazz, some people are learning how to write music, some people are learning how to rap, some people are learning how to make beats. So now, with this teaching thing, after when the COVID happened, I knew I couldn't see people. So my plan was that, okay, I can do lesson online and they all can just come at the same time, watch it, and that's it, we're done. That was the initial plan, that the students will come. So when I started doing it, I started doing it in English. And that was the initial plan. Okay, we'll do that. Some people were coming, some did not, and that. But then slowly, I started opening up in the streams. I started speaking in Urdu, because now that Seth Gordon thing started hitting me, because I was listening to his podcast, and that was hitting me, smallest viable audience. And I was like, well, I really want to implement that. How can I implement that in my life? And smallest viable was perfect. I was like, okay, so I'm already doing a niche. I'm doing a live stream on music production, music making, which is such a niche crowd. It's only for people who are either interested in making music or kind of know how to do it. It's not really for the people who are making music, because they're busy making their music. They're not going to watch me. So it's already a very niche crowd. And then I thought, okay, let's bring Urdu element into it. Urdu is the language of Pakistan, which is very similar to Hindi, which is the language in India. So, and I knew in India, there's like 1.2 billion people, and Pakistan is 250 million. Even if I get 1% of all of that, that's way more than any mainstream artist you can think of worldwide, I'm saying. So there's market already there, and there wasn't anyone doing that, and that wasn't the reason that I did it. I just saw that, okay, by doing niche, now I don't have competition. Even and so what started happening, that even though the YouTube algorithm, because I've been doing it for so long, doesn't really support my content that much, that it doesn't push it, because it doesn't see my channel's rating is C plus, which means that your algorithm only pushes content for channels which are A, maybe B plus or A positive, A plus basically, because YouTube is a corporation. The point of YouTube is to sell ads. Not saying YouTube is bad, it's just how this works. So for me, the word of mouth was the main thing to get people to come in. Okay, so now the live stream started. Then I added this new thing, which is where we are after 15 minutes of introduction, the collaborative thing. So I'm just gonna show you what that is. It's a small video, and then I can talk about these projects while it's happening. This is basically, let's say, an introduction of what. So these are basically 7 different videos, but I've cut them out, so you don't have to watch all of them. And they are in Urdu, so they are not subtitled, but they are. You will understand what's going on. I've put a little bit of heading. So this is the first example. It's in very low resolution because I thought I had to email them, but it's fine. So that's the first one. This is what happened with. So now the stream is happening. Imagine this. So I'm doing the stream. This is the setup where I do it. There's a live chat box on YouTube, and the musicians who have joined, the people who have joined the community, the channel, are actively suggesting what instrument to use, what key shall we use. So this is first example. This guy sent our, and anyway, let's play this, and then I will talk about this WhatsApp, via WhatsApp. So on the left you can see there is the chat, and then on the right you can see there is me. This is again same thing. The camera angle is slightly different, and yeah, slightly old, but it's the same place. Okay, so this guy has sent the vocals, and I'm trying to find the key of it. I'm sure, because after listening to other people, I'm pretty sure everyone knows what key is, so I don't have to go into that, right? It's a scale. Then I couldn't find it, so then I go into a guitar.
Aman Jain is right.
And then this guy suggested that it's actually in minor, so then I just switched it. Then it's worked. And then we started doing the pitch corrector of this guy. This guy whose vocal it is. His name is Abdul Wahid, and he's a channel member.
So सिर्फ एक note.
Now, this is just what I'm saying, that you don't have to put a lot of tuning. That's just.
देखा आपने नोट किया एक चीज के आवाज जितना उस पे काम होगा.
People in the chat are actively telling, okay, what can we do next? That's beat making process. Then just progressing the song with different ideas. So again, all these things are not happening because even though I'm doing it because I have the skills to do it, but all the ideas, every single idea is from the chat. And what happens is now my analytics have 3 hours retention. So I used to think that people have smaller attention span now. So I have to make shorter content, quick edits. But it's actually the other way around. These people, and it's crazy that the people who are on the stream, they're actually been watching even this conference for 3 hours, which is amazing. So it's like, it's not actually the people's attention going down. It's actually the content, what it is. I mean, I'm not saying this is great content. I'm just saying this is the real analytics. That's all I'm saying. You can make your own judgment. And someone says, put an arpeggiator. You can't see the chat. And then I've got an arpeggiator. This brings a very interesting concept of. This is actually goes to that actor network theory, actually. I don't know, I might be misusing that word, but I'm going to try and explain why I say that. So, and this is something I actually talked about in the beginning of the stream when people started joining these streams, that we are all connected on this one stream. funnily, even though we cannot quantify that and it's not real science, but it's crazy that whatever idea they gave, the other person is also thinking similar thing. They are very nearby each other. And that's what I see actor network theory like. There's a network. I'm the actor there, the computer is actor, and they are the actors. But the network we've created is kind of collective. This almost like a being, let's say. And then I'm gonna go forward. I'm not gonna. So that's the second. Then it just goes forward. That's the second one. Is we tried. So we thought, okay, let's take it next level. What if we get 7 singers in 7 different scales and 7 different tempos? And by the way, the WhatsApp to Spotify thing was that you take your phone. This was the idea of the stream. You sing in your phone and just send me the email and we'll do the rest. And you get 1,000 rupees per line. So initially, to create like a promo of this, I realized that instead of paying Google the money, who's already got enough money, why not just pay the singers 1,000 rupees, which is not a lot of money in pounds actually. And it's not a lot of money in Pakistan as well, but it's just the act that if you get paid, because I remember getting paid for doing your music is such a great feeling and it's so empowering. So I was like 1,000 rupees per line. I will only take 4 lines because I don't want to get scammed. People sending me as chapters of books. So it was like 4 lines per person. And then people were sending, the singers were sending their stuff. So this is basically a mashup of 7 singers in 7 scales and 7 tempos. Again, ignore the glasses. It's all out of context at this point. A lot of things in the stream are the community which I'm going to get into later. So I do look really good in that. So don't worry about that. But thank you very much. That's the second singer.
मयार नहीं मिलता मेरा मयार नहीं मिलता तेरे दिल से कहा.
Now all these singers are people who've never either sung or have sung but never thought that they would actually go to a studio, or a lot of females were not even allowed to sing because some of them were from an oppressed family in Pakistan who couldn't even, so you could even hear them singing and then stopping in the middle, and you could hear the father or someone in the room walked in and then they would start singing. And one of the girl, Farishti, who she started off that way, but now she has a full album on Spotify. Full album. And we created like that. I'll play that album as well later, but she's one of them in there. Dawood ke, and then we just progressing the song. Again, the musicality of it is not the point. The point is creating a project while having a collective, being attentive there, being live. In this right now, especially right now with this lockdowns and social distancing, we are still, and this is actually more intimate, funny enough, because in the room having 15 people might be very hard to create something unless you're doing Fela Kuti kind of music, but it's very difficult to do that. And then so then it goes further, and so I just want to quickly actually I'll just go show you one more thing and then I'll do that. So that was so on the right side you see a point board. So this is something I want to quickly show you. So while doing that, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, that's like a big thing right now. For some reason, everyone's like, yeah, NFT, Bitcoin. So as a joke, we thought, okay, why don't we create our own coin without mining? We'll just call it 8 coin. The word 8 in Punjabi means brick. So the joke was that if you try to use that, people might throw brick at you. We just tried as a joke, right? Like, it's not economy, it's just thing. So this is a point sport, and you can earn those coins by, of course, you can buy them by giving super chat, which is like you can pay on YouTube and you go above. Clearly, we said if you pay money, you're gonna go on top. No, we're not even gonna ask you a question. Or you can tell a joke, or you can tell an idea of the song, or you can send your vocals. And people started, and that actually created this community became tighter after doing that thing, which was a coincidence. The whole point of that wasn't to create an economy, but it was as a joke. But then it became a thing that people were interested to be on top of the board. So they would try to Google facts, they would try to answer questions, they would try to engage each other in that. And then the people who are, because in Pakistan, you cannot have super chat. People from Pakistan cannot pay through YouTube. because Pakistan doesn't have PayPal. They don't have a lot of things. But so they were kind of exempt from that rule. But India or people from Saudi Arabia, people from Germany, because people are all over, whoever is speaking Hindi, and they were joining and they were paying to get this Bitcoin. So anyway, so this was that. Now the third one is, then after that we created, once the community was created, so we had about 35 people in the Instagram group called Music Wali Sarkar. Then I started doing teaching like specific lessons. So now a user can actually, a part of community member can actually come on Zoom, and then we can stream a music learning session. So this is one of the first one. This is where we did. So I had this expert, not an expert, but a practitioner of Eastern Hindi classical music, and I had my information of a supposedly Western music, like Pythagorean stuff, like modes and that way. So we were trying to find parallels in between them. That what is the word for groove in Hindi music? What is the word for mode? So
मैं वेस्टर्न में तो लिडियन कहूंगा, इसको शार्प 4 बोलते हैं, ठीक है ना? अच्छा.
So he's talking about Tat. Some of you, if you know Hindi music, you might know better, but Tat is almost like a ground. And this is how I was. So this way I came across this idea of teaching visually. Like, okay, let's break down musical concepts into very basic stuff.
Now there's something different.
Anyone who looks at that can kind of see that Tat is the main ground, and then Rag is created from that ground. It's basically a group of notes, and you pick some of them, and then you say, these are the Rag I'm going to use. And we call them scale. Or not we all are, it's the same thing, but like in English, the Western ideology is the scale. So this is how he created a Rag. And then we're talking about the groove, that what is this groove thing? What is groove? Because groove is such an interesting concept, because it's not the drum, it's not the bass, but when you play them together, there is this groove thing starts. So this is actually a techno song in 7/8.
ठीक है, उस पे आप हिल सकते हैं, मूव कर सकते हैं. अब वो जो मूवमेंट है,
अगर वैसे स्पेसिफिक अगर आप जो चीज कह रहे हैं ना, उसका मतलब as a term ले.
So he's saying there's no word for that, but there's a word called lay. Lay is what they call it. What he thinks it is. Again, it's not about going with, but everyone who's watching it is now understanding very complex concepts of 7/8. But they get it. They're like, okay, I'm just counting to the 7 and then I'm starting again, or I'm counting 3, 3 and then 1. And it's not like we're not saying polyrhythms or anything. We're just saying this is how we're gonna do it.
तो ये basically.
And then we said, okay, how the music is read in Western. I don't know if Western is the right word for it, but let's say this is because this is America, and America is kind of West. So yes, American
Western way of representing music.
And then he said, well, we got something like that, and this is a way they write. His teacher teaches him in Hindi music, and that was really nice to see. Okay, and maybe everyone knows it. I didn't know it, but now I do. So.
Okay.
Then he's talking about that Rag Durga is called pentatonic, and we didn't know that. He didn't know that pentatonic is the same thing. I didn't know it was Rag Durga, but that created this. Oh, good singer, right? And another interesting thing, so these teachers are getting paid for this hour. So they will either get 30 quid or 25 quid or 50 quid, depending on where the YouTube, what's happening, like where it's at. So these are all, they're not just coming to a stream to get exposure, because there's no exposure. It's not going anywhere. So such a community thing. Even if you are known in that community, it means nothing, because everyone's like a celebrity over there. So it's a monetary thing now. And that money, it comes, again, the people are paying it, because now the YouTube has a channel membership feature. So a lot of people on the stream are actually members of the channel. So they're paying a monthly subscription fee depending on how much they want to pay. They can pay as much as Netflix, or they can pay less. But it's not about payment. It's actually, they wanted to do it. This was initialized by the community itself, and the community is called Music Wali Sarkar, which I'm gonna come back to that. So now this is a Western thing. So this guy is in Saudi Arabia. He is a engineer, structural engineer, and he always wanted to learn music.
And he said, okay, I want to come on the stream and I want to learn. I have these questions. So we did Circle of Fifth, which is the basic stuff for anyone here.
ये है basically ये देखिए मैं इसको तो मैं understand कर गया.
He's talking about how does this work, what is going on.
Major scale है.
ये क्योंकि अगर आप जैसे it is the Circle of Fifth thing. अब जो आप बात कर रहे थे ना इसकी के again we talk about formulas और आखिरी no nines को आप use करके technically just that one stream at the end there is a page which I think is everything. Here you go. So this page I believe has every information you need to play jazz, to play rock music, to play pretty much any kind of music. I mean, you have the major, you have the minor, and this all happened in that one session. We've covered pretty much like I think so much content in that, so much of like education stuff. So that's how the education started becoming thing, because someone it would be a personal thing, it would be a live stream. So people are watching it and asking questions, and there's one person or two people on the stream who like we are doing it right now. So the next one is then this last example in this is that we made a lot of people believe that it's all about placement. You want a brand to take your song, because for some reason this has become a thing that musicians always need someone to take their finger and say, okay, what do you want? You want money? Okay, you want Netflix? And I might sound patronizing here, but this is a normal thing now, because they've given all their power to someone other than their own art, which is fine, because this is where it's at. So in the stream, we're like, okay, what if we create a product and we create a jingle for it? So we created this.
This is one I haven't seen it.
First, we watched some old Pakistani jingles just for fun to see what is the jingle music. So this is all, again, this is an educational stream. So it was all about making notes of how it happens.
बता दो ना.
Pentonic, of course. एक तो ये कि catchy melody होती है. This is down the breakdown of repetitive होती है, ठीक है, और वो catchy melody is repetitive. It's hook. You say the brand's name over and over, and it sounds very similar to your favorite artist. This is not necessary. I apologize for this. This was just a joke at that time. So we came up with this sauce called Desi mushroom sauce because of the Super Mario here. It was just, that's what the chat came up with. Maybe you can't see it clearly, but it's actually Banksy print. So we came up with that. Then we thought, okay, we got a repetitive melody.
तो बस हम entry
just samples by the way.
छोटा से जल्दी इधर अब फिर मैं तुझे बताना शुरू करता हूँ कि exact. Oh yeah.
भूख हमें लगी है. That's the first खाना पकाओ. And then we're doing plugins as well. So it's also people who are there are not just singers, because there are music producers, there are audio engineers. So everyone is being catered, not intentionally, but it's because what they are saying on the chat anyway. So like, oh, let's put a tuner on it. Okay, we'll put a tuner. Everyone's learning how to put a tuner as well. That's the third vocalist. Why does this sound wrong? This is almost final version because we haven't finished it. सारेयां है पसंद साडी देसी मशरूम सॉस है कि नंबर 1 ये तो हमको सॉस. So that was that. Okay, so the point of showing you all that, now when we started this stream, now one thing I want to say, I use the word we, not I, because what I do is make music and make albums, but with the stream it's not what I do, it's a we thing. It's a very cool we thing actually. And this, when we started it was not supposed to become this community thing. It was supposed to be 10-15 streams of music learning stuff which can become a curriculum, but then it became this thing. And now the interesting of that is that from that we created this it's like a company called Music Wali Sarkar Limited. Now Music Wali Sarkar is actually it's like going to a shrine. It's like music. Wali Sarkar is almost like going to a shrine, and music is like going to a music shrine. So it was again, we weren't going spiritual about it. This was all on the nose. It was like a joke, not a joke, but it was like, because we did a voting poll. So we had Offbeat Collective,
can't sing on the beat, some really funny ones. And then I put the poll on the YouTube community tab, and this is what everyone's like, okay, let's go for Music Wali Sarkar. And the point of Music Wali Sarkar is where the lights come in. So in Pakistan, if you go to, or India, if you go to a shrine, or a shrine is basically, it's not a mosque, but it's like a saint or sage probably died there. So they created a shrine for him. And people put these lights over there. These, because, so I can afford LEDs, trust me, I can. Hopefully you think I can. But the point of these lights and these fake trees and these offbeat colors is, if you watch if you can, any shrines, basically, Pakistani, I would say, because I'm from Pakistan, but India also, I'm pretty sure, is like that. And to bring that concept of vibe and this offering, that you can come here, the music will happen, but you have to give offering. And for offering, you can either sing for us, you can play guitar and send it. So now we've created a lot of different projects for it. And the interesting thing is, now today I did the 276th stream. And in these last 276 streams, we have created over 220 songs. We've created about 5 different new artists and new brands for artists who were probably never going to do it, or maybe they would have done it anyway, but this happened through this stream. Then there's been two other channels who started doing live streams after that, who are part of this stream. Actually, and this one of them is actually part of this conference as well. So he also started doing that, not as a copy, but it's something, because he's a very talented producer, and he saw that, okay, I can do this niche for Fruity Loops users. So I'm using Logic Pro, he's doing it on Fruity Loops. So now he's gone even more niche for people who don't have Mac. Amazing. Then there's another guy who's using Cubase. And then famous music producers started coming to this stream, because whoever came here, they just really enjoyed the vibe, and they're like, oh, this is so much fun. We're just making music without any reservation of where it's gonna go. So now they started giving offers that, oh, I want to make a song for anyone on the stream. So now we have famous music producers, like the top cream of Pakistan. Some of them are actually interested, and they are very happy about it, which is really cool. So the point of what I'm trying to say is that, I mean, I'm sure by now you've understood that just because what happened is, one, we utilized what we had. Everyone utilized what they had. I used the internet, the computer, and what my skills were. Another person used their mic and their writing skills. Another person used whatever they had. And then when everyone threw what they had from the best of their interest, in the interest of music and creativity and arts, no monetization issue. Because I say it clearly, if you're poor, don't bother music. Go make money first. Because if you are poor and you're going to make it big, brands are going to buy you, and then you're going to become a salesman. It's a bit controversial, I agree. A lot of people don't like it. But there is a breakdown of that we've done on the stream, that how music industry actually makes money. Do you actually make music and make money, or do you just sell brands, or what are you doing? But again, because we're not big enough to make solid statements like that, but it's an us, it's a tribe. We can say whatever we want because we are saying it in our community. So people can come, anyone can come, and it's not a thing that is closed. And we sometimes some people come and they come with a lot of hate because they don't like what's going on. Not because of any reason. Maybe something happened to them in their personal life and they try to let it out, lash out. And again, we don't block anything and let them. Next day they come and they say sorry. There's 4 at least active users at the moment who started off lashing out on the community saying, what is this nonsense? And now I've got their prints, shots of saying, oh, I'm really sorry. I just didn't understand that this stream was actually for me, not like me, but me as in that person, which is another really cool thing. So all this is happening because of creating a community and that. And one more thing is that I'm not monetizing music. I'm monetizing workflow. I'm showing, and this is again going back to Seth Gordon's new book called Practice. It almost seems like I work for Seth Gordon. But the thing is, Seth Gordon also says that, but this is actually, I've tried it. So it's all about practice. People are not seeing here what the end product is. No one actually cares. Honestly, they might care, but it's all about how we're going to get there. We start with a blank canvas every day. we all start saying, okay, today can you do my song? Can we do this person's song? Can we do that song? Or I'll say, okay, let's do a new jazz album. So when we did an Urdu Jazz 2 album, which is my jazz album on my Spotify, it was just like that. It was like, okay, let's do a jazz album. Okay, what are jazz lyrics? Okay, they are weird. So we just started throwing weird words out there and then just rhymed them, and we got a full album. And because these people are in different territories, the Spotify algorithm is picking these albums as someone's listening to it. So it is generating revenue that way. Then the YouTube monetization, even though it's not a lot at this point, but it's enough for at least the stream to keep going. And secondly, people are also paying super chat, which they don't have to, but they want to, because it's, again, as I said, when you do something live, something emotionally happens to people, and then they want to do something with that feeling. Some people have a lot of money, they give money. Some people have a lot of voice, they start singing. So I'm not saying money is bad, just hang out with rich people and play music for them, I guess. But that's of course that's a joke, hopefully. So I've covered pretty much most of the stuff, and I've showed you the academic side of that as well. So as I said, my PhD is involved in using human vocals as musical instruments. So what this stream led me is that, so I did an ethnographic research initially. I spoke to 15 producers all over the world in different genres of music, electronic mainly. And they told me how they create these vocal chops or vocal synthesis or whatever they do with the vocals. And what happened is I got all that data, and now I have this real analytics, real-time thing where I'm using that data to create vocal chops in these streams, to seeing whether this actually works or not, and creating new act, like as you say, practice as research at the same time. So you can see how my music making, monetization, teaching, being hip with the technologies, because I'm live streaming. So this is the most. And another thing, this is that when we are making music, we are definitely making music out of all the humans. At that moment we are making music. That's a fact at that time, which is such a powerful thing for us anyway. Maybe it sounds a bit weird, but that I can do that in real time. It's being monetized, and so that's where we are. I hope it makes sense to you what we are doing, and what I would suggest you, I don't know if I've got it right or not, but I would strongly suggest you to do something which you can do every day and monetize your workflow. Thank you. I think that's good. We got 42 minutes. So if you have any questions, I am open for them.
Great. Thank you very much. I imagine there are quite a number of questions from the audience, and there are loads of things that you covered there in terms of sort of like functioning as a musical community, the interesting intersection with the marketplace as well. So rather than take chair's privilege, we have a room of people here. Maybe I can sort of see if there are any questions from the floor immediately that people would like to ask. Oh, there's a hand. Beata.
Hama, that was wonderful. Highly entertaining. I've rarely seen such an engaging and entertaining keynote, and a wonderful topic. I've got a million questions. One of them being that, so you mentioned that several times, that you seem to play on kind of stereotypical notions of what music is, what the industry is. That assumes that there's a kind of an almost like an international agreement of what music is and how music works. Is that right? That's kind of your base from which you start.
Yes. In on all, yes. It's almost like doing what people think musicians do, literally. And yet we're not really doing music, because it's just putting chords together.
Right, but there's a certain. Sorry, I'm going on to my next question straight away.
Please do
but
that.
And you've said this several times. There's something about making music together, which kind of makes me think we're kind of going back to communal music making that is kind of getting lost a little bit in our current traditions. But also your element of saying doing it live really gives people a buzz to go further, to do something with it. So how do you think you're going to develop this from here? Because I get the sense you have an absolute freedom because you don't want to make it, your aim is not to be commercial, although that might happen, but it gives you this total freedom to go into any direction. Are you not worried that you're just spreading too thinly? You do the educational bit and the jingles and the, where are you going?
I am, but the thing is, this content, first of all, is in Urdu. So it's never gonna go too wide. Even if it goes really wide, it's gonna stick with like only 2 countries. And yes, at one point, there is points where I feel like, oh, what are we doing? But then I actually let it out on the stream. I say, I'm bored now. Shall I continue? I actually made a video of saying, can I have a leave for 1 week? I made a video, and then people were like, no, you can't, you have to stick with it. So it's like, there's like this almost like a therapy as well, of not taking myself too seriously. So as much as I don't think it is kind of spreading thing when people start bringing religion and politics in it, because somehow people want those subjects to be talked about. Some political thing happened, they want me to say something on it. That's where things get a bit tricky, because that's not the agreement. The agreement is not what I believe in. Agreement is, what are we doing right now? We do music, and this is how we do it. Everything else is just I keep them away from it. So that's how I stay away from that you said. Nice, by the way. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Great.
Are there any other questions from the floor?
So if we don't have questions, can I quickly show you something? A minute thing?
Yeah, of course.
Possible? So one thing we are also doing, just to let you know, that at the same time we're making music traditionally, we're also seeing what's in forefronts. So I did my master's thesis on this, music coding. So I also teach music coding to people who cannot get Mac, because this is a 15-pound software and it can run on a TV. So this is how you can make music. I'm not saying you should आप coder बन जाएं, लेकिन अगर आपको म्यूजिक में इंटरेस्ट है तो you should see के forefronts कहाँ पे जा रहे हैं. आप लिखें YouTube पे algorithm, ठीक है, algorithm लिखेंगे तो you will see there are gigs जहाँ पे DJs live perform कर रहे हैं. So this is all done. भाई उसके बाद recording. तुमने क्या देखा? And then I sing over. बोलो बोलो तुमने क्या देखा? The point is to change. The one thing was, sorry, I'm taking the question time now, but this is going back to BH, your question, that the point is not for me to make it, because I'm doing okay. I'm doing a PhD. I get to meet Simon, so I'm cool. But the issue is that people should start seeing that what you can do so much. You don't have to just make a 2-minute song and have a chorus and then expect some Drake or someone to buy your beat or go to top charts. You can do your own, create your own industry. Then it doesn't matter. If you're not feeling good, just say that to your community, I'm not feeling good. And we can just bitch about some artist. We do that, by the way. Sorry to use that word.
Great, thank you. If there aren't any other questions, I wanted to put, I know it's 8:30 now and everyone's probably had a long day, but I'm still really interested in, so you mentioned a lot about, say, musicality is not the point, it's about being a collective. And then I'm interested in the monetization process, the monetization of the workflow. And have there been any moments where that particular aspect has impacted on a sense of community because there's that underlying element there? Just on that, really. I know you've spoken that in a bit.
Yeah, no, maybe I said it wrong. There is no underlying monet, because, as I said, I have 60 albums. So my approach is, if I want million views, I'll put million songs out and I'll get million views that way. My channel has million views, by the way, and that's not one channel. I also have a trap beats channel where I do type beats like the gentleman who did before. So there's so many other things I do at the same time. So the monetization is not, I've actually was offered to do a film music, which was a good project, but I took it down, not because of arrogance, but they wanted to break the structure of how things are going. They were trying to take over almost. And we're like, no, we're not poor. So I don't know if this answers your question, but there hasn't been a time yet. The money was, because internet is 23 pounds. I own this MacBook. There isn't really a cost there. You just need to do an hour a day.
Yeah, that makes sense. Great. Thank you very much.
And sorry, one more thing. There is musicality aspect. I am doing PhD in music. I have 60 albums in jazz, in rock, trance. So as much as it might seem like that I'm making it easy, I do have albums in odd time signatures. So I have that huge body of work just to put there that, it's fine. It seems like whatever, because I enjoy it, but I have created all those stuff as well, which is musical.
Thank you. Okay.
There's a question in the chat from Daniel, which is, what is your market? Beginners, intermediate level music practitioners, or advanced pro musicians?
We can ignore that question. It's from the community. He knows the answer. He's just don't worry about it. Sorry, Daniel. I'll answer you that tomorrow morning. He knows the answer. But Daniel is the other person who does stream as well. He started doing it as well. So.
Right. So he's just holding out, hoping you're going to tell everybody that he's a professional.
Yeah. Exactly.
Sorry.
No worries. Are there any other questions from the audience? If not, I think we're going to leave it there. But just to say a really huge thank you to Hamad and all the other speakers today. It's been a really enlivening set of papers covering a wide variety of themes. Thank you to Beata, thanks to Simon for chairing sessions. And yeah, I really enjoyed today. So hopefully we can do it again at some point in the future.
Right, yeah, and thank you, Alex, for organising this. It's been a really worthwhile experience. It's been a great way to make that the global lecture series contribution. Brilliant idea to do it this way. It's been so energizing, I think.
Great. Well, yeah, thanks again to everyone. And in terms of practicalities, this is recorded, so it will appear at some point on the IASPM YouTube channels, and I'll distribute that and let everyone know. And yeah, just thanks again, everyone. I hope you have a nice rest of your evening. But I'm going to stop recording now, so everyone can go and get some dinner. Thanks very much. Bye, everyone.
Marvellous. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.